These are the last words anyone would ever receive from 14-year-old April Millsap. A chilling "I'm scared" text to her boyfriend that reads, "I think I almost got kidnapped." It's followed a short time later by this heartbreaking 911 call.
911?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain we just found a body along the mountain bike trail.
I think the last murder in the village of Armada was in 1973.
Armada, Michigan is a small farming community an hour north of Detroit on the map, but a million miles away from Detroit's big city problems and its crime.
I'm police chief of the village of Armada Police Department.
The village of Armada is tiny, just 1 square mile with a little more than 1,700 people. Its police department is as small as the community it protects.
There are only 2 full-time police officers. There are 10 part-time police officers.
You're one of the 2 full-time police officers in Armada, Michigan.
That is true.
It's a safe place to grow up.
I'm 15 years old and I'm in 10th grade at Armada High School.
Maddie Adams isn't exaggerating when she says,
Everyone knows each other, no matter where you go. Every corner you turn, there's a friendly face that you recognize.
David Lichtenfelt thought it was a safe place to raise a family.
In talking with people and being in town, everyone has always had a sense of, this is such a safe place, the kind of place where you don't lock your doors. I wonder, did you ever lock your doors?
Before this, never. You know, you live in a small town because that's the kind of life you want to live. You think it's safe there, but it really isn't.
Life in Armada changed the day 14-year-old April Millsap went missing after walking her dog Penny along a popular jogging trail on a warm summer evening in July of 2014.
April was like my own child as far as I was concerned.
David Lichtenfelt is April's stepfather.
What's the last time you saw April?
Just before I was going to work, I gave her a little back rub. She's eating a salad, and I told her goodbye, and she said goodbye, and I go to work, and probably 9:30, I get a phone call saying April's missing, and police, and Jennifer is just crying.
Jennifer is April's mother.
I didn't want to believe it.
Jennifer Millsap was born with a neurological disorder that affects her speech and balance, but her fear that something is wrong is easy to understand.
You start worrying.
I'm concerned as to where she is.
I told everybody at work, I'm packing my tools, I'm leaving, I'm going home, April's missing.
April isn't responding to her mother's texts.
She's not answering, so after the 3rd or 4th text, I actually called her, and it went straight to voicemail.
The person you are trying to reach is not accepting calls at this time. Please try your call again later.
Jennifer calls April's boyfriend. He's hanging out with his friends and hasn't heard from her. Or has he?
So around 6:30, she sends a text to her boyfriend that she's in trouble, afraid she almost got kidnapped. But he doesn't get the text until an hour later.
An hour, yeah, about an hour later, yes.
That terrifying text is the last time anyone heard from April. Then a man riding a bicycle on Macomb Orchard Trail spots Penny, April's dog, loose and frantic. Penny leads the man to April, and he calls 911.
We just found a body along the mountain bike trail.
Is it a male or a female?
Female.
About how old do you think she is?
I didn't get that close.
Okay. Is she on the trail?
No, she's off of the trail, touched back in the woods, her clothes are all taken off.
By nightfall, most everyone in this tiny, close-knit community has heard that police have found the body of a teenage girl. Serena Smolaric, who's friends with April, sends a text to everyone in her contact list asking if they're okay.
I texted all my friends, including April and stuff, and April's the only one I didn't get a message back from.
Young Serena is not the only one terrified about what this could mean. When April's mother reaches the crime scene, the news is not good.
They described the clothes that April was wearing. That's the clothes our victim had on.
When I found out, I'm kind of numb.
Is there an anger within you, or is it just pain?
Mostly pain, but yeah, there's anger. So why this happened to me, and I try not to blame God for it, but yeah, why? It's why is the biggest question. Why?
She wasn't alone in her pain. Even the chief of police felt like he had lost one of his own. This was personal.
I remember when April was a little girl walking over to the bus stop. You know these people, you know everybody in town.
Who would savagely attack and kill a beautiful 14-year-old girl just walking her dog on a warm summer evening? The answer will shock you. Armada, Michigan is reeling. 14-year-old April Millsap is savagely murdered walking her dog. And her killer is on the loose. It's the first murder here in 41 years. The FBI and Michigan State Police are called in to help Armada's tiny police department crack the case. The whole town is trying to help. Even April's classmates are doing what they can.
Everyone put up ribbons on all the trees and signs in Armada.
Pink ribbons to show support for April's mother, Jennifer Millsap.
She was all I had.
Jennifer, whose speech and balance are affected by a neurological disorder, cherishes the last school picture taken of April.
I just want people to remember April the way she was.
Police say April was approached by a man on a trail while she was walking her dog. He reportedly came on to her. She rejected him and immediately sent an "I'm scared" text to her boyfriend that read, "I think I almost got kidnapped." Police Chief Howard Smith says he knew right away they were looking for a man in his 30s on a motorcycle who was seen trying to pick up April on the trail.
We have witnesses that identify April, put her there with the man on the motorcycle.
Based on the time of that text, police used the GPS on April's phone to plot her coordinates on the trail. But police had one more weapon, a gold mine of information that measured April's every step.
There was a fitness app running on April's phone.
April's fitness tracker would provide investigators with a digital trail of terror.
I didn't even know she had that fitness tracker on her phone.
Investigators recreated April's route. She changed direction and started walking home at a much faster pace right after sending that text.
She was walking away from the assailant when she sent that text.
When April sent her boyfriend the "oh my God, I was almost kidnapped" text, she probably thought she was out of danger. Police say she never saw the killer come up behind her.
I think at that moment she believed she was safe.
David LICHTENFELT, April's stepdad, taught her how to protect herself.
I believe April would have fought back. I've always taught her to kick a guy in the right place. Run as fast as you can.
The last few minutes of April's life were violent. The killer hit her in the head with a motorcycle helmet, and then he dragged her body off the path, ripped off her clothes, and tried to rape her. And then he stomped on her so hard that his sneakers left tread marks on her neck and chest.
He stomps her so viciously that the shoe impressions are vivid.
April's phone not only gives cops a step-by-step map of the attack, it also provides investigators with a virtual blow-by-blow image of April's struggle with her killer.
For about 15 minutes, there is a scuffle. You can see the phone going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and then the phone leaves the crime scene at a speed of 13 miles an hour. So we know that it's on a motorized vehicle.
When the killer took off with April's backpack and cell phone, he unknowingly left police digital breadcrumbs, and cops followed them.
We found the phone the next day.
Then the motorcycle was spotted.
One of the officers saw a motorcycle out on Armada Ridge that matched James Van Callis's. So we started looking at him the second day.
The trail leads the FBI to the home of a father and son in nearby Wales Township, James Van Callis Sr. and James Van Callis Jr. The two are originally arrested on unrelated drug charges.
We did 2 searches out at Van Callis's house.
James Van Callis Sr. is a registered sex offender, convicted of having sex with a person under 13. But he's not the one police want. It's his son, James Van Callis Jr., who's arrested for April's murder.
James made a comment at the first search warrant that everything he learned from his father. And his father nodded and acknowledged that that was the truth.
Like father, like son, James Van Callis Jr. also has a criminal record. In 2005 and 2006, he was charged with breaking and entering and failing to pay child support. After a preliminary hearing, Jr., 34, is charged with a long list of crimes, including first-degree murder for killing April.
All rise for the jury.
The whole time, Van Callis insists he's innocent. And as his defense attorney points out, there's no DNA evidence at the crime scene or on April's body linking him to the vicious murder.
DNA prints?
Prints, no.
Hair?
No.
Fiber?
No.
So when you showed up on the scene, anywhere around the body and in that area, did you see any motorcycle tracks?
No, sir.
Investigators never found the sneakers that made the stomp marks on April's body, but police say Van Callis's girlfriend observed something strange.
She sees him cleaning the helmet and the shoes with hand sanitizer the night of the occurrence.
Prosecutors didn't have the sneakers, but they showed this video from Van Callis's own cell phone showing him wearing sneakers with a similar tread. After a 2.5-week trial, the jury reaches a verdict.
We find the defendant guilty.
When we got in there and we got that verdict guilty on all counts, I just wanted to scream at the top of my lungs, hooray. This guy is not hurting anybody else.
As soon as they said guilty on all counts, it was a bit of relief to know that, you know, they got him. We got him.
My brother called me from Florida and said, you know, I watched the verdict. You looked a little emotional. How do you not? When I can focus on what we had to do, it's pretty easy. When you look at losing April, there's nothing we can do to correct that.
April's mother finally gets her day in court. Fighting back tears, she confronts James Van Callis Jr. before his sentencing.
Did you deserve to die? My life will never be the same. I pity you, and I hate you, and I can never forgive you.
Van Callis, who has maintained his innocence, tells the judge he's been framed.
There is no evidence that shows that I have done anything wrong.
Van Callis's last words do not sway the judge.
The reality is we're here to sentence you. Anything you want to say regarding an appeal, you can do that as soon as you're done with me.
Van Callis is sentenced to life without parole for the murder of April Millsap.
My son was framed.
His mother shouts to him as he leaves.
James, we love you.
Armada, Michigan will forever have a hole in its heart. But this tribute to April is an attempt to begin to heal. A garden that reflects all the things she loved, including her dog Penny.
We planted flowers as a picture of April. It just means a lot to me because she was one of my best friends. So just knowing that there's a place dedicated to her makes me really happy.
While April's mother, Jennifer, finds some peace here, letting go of what happened is not easy. She has her memories and an urn of her daughter's ashes.
I'm only April. This is all I've left of her. She's gonna stay with me.